Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the show at Rise Up Show with me, your host, the Queen Bee, Dani. How are you feeling? As we chat this morning to the devilishly handsome, the fabulously wonderful, the incredibly knowledgeable Mr. Fidel Hill, the modern man. Good morning. Jodie Sol, good morning. Fab Naredia, good morning. Elise Woodbine, good morning. The devilishly handsome Ian Dixon, good morning, sir.
Shut up, for f***'s sake. Jesus.
The fantastic Lizzie Jackson Barrett, good morning. Josephine, Sandra, everybody, good morning. Good morning, my angels. Good morning. Come on in here and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the show at Rise Up Show. On this, our final week before we take a little holiday for a refresh and a refocus. I was just watching the title sequence this morning, and it never fails to make me smile. Like, it never fails to make me happy when I watch it. And, we had that little sort of space during, when we were launching Be Inspired, and we were sharing the sort of the longer title sequence and that big promo for Be Inspired and IATQB. And I'm really excited to share with you the new title sequence when we come back after our break. So this is our last week of the show at Rise Up Show before we take a couple of weeks off. I'm going to be up and down the country from Monday doing the Summer Swarm strategy sessions. So any of you, I know Christine, you're booked on. I got your post yesterday. We're emailing all of our attendees of the Summer Swarm strategy sessions today and tomorrow to give you all of the final details of where you're going to be, what time's expected. It's going to be 9:30 till 5 o'clock. We've got all of the final details nailed with our venues. It's been a bit of a strange one because of the announcements last week and things changing a little bit. We've had to make sure that everything's right in the background before we tell everybody everything. So just know that we are in central Manchester, we're in central London. When I say central London for me is just London. I know there's north, south, east and west, I get it, but it's that there London in the big smoke. In the zones 1 to 4, which for me is central London, however we look at it. We've got Birmingham and we've got Glasgow, starting off with Glasgow on Monday. So I am so excited to see so many of you up and down the country from Monday. If anybody wants to work on their overall strategy, personal and business, then these Summit Swarm strategy sessions are here for you. Getting in a room, small groups, super focused, lots of laughs and lots of incredible planning, plus swag, because I like a little bit of swag. So I've ordered some brand new, so you'll be the first to see the brand new IATQB swag. So if you do want a spot on the Summer Swarm strategy sessions, please do make yourself known. Put Swarm in the comments and I will give you all the juicy details. So there is still time. The doors will close on Friday. You won't be able to get a ticket from Friday because I've got to finalise food and stuff like that, because we feed you as well, you'd think. So we've got some fabulous venues up and down the country for the Summer Swarm. Get yourselves on there. I would love to see you in the room to be able to mastermind with you on the day. Speaking of mastermind, our guest this morning, I have had the pleasure, nay, honour of being in a mastermind with this. She's laughing. Of being in a mastermind with this person. I have been. I've been on holiday with this person. When things first started out, when I tell the story of Malta, our guest this morning was one of the people who were around that table that day, that really lit the touch paper for IATQB as it is today. We have been friends now it's been a couple of years, and watching her do her thing in business is just honestly phenomenal. She has been a part of the Storymind Mastermind, which is one of the reasons why she's on the show today. You will be seeing lots more of her here in IATQB as we move into the next phase of growth for this person. She's going to be speaking on the Be Inspired stage in September, end of September, beginning of October. As you know, tickets are on sale for Be Inspired. By the way, there are only 70 tickets to be in the room where it happens. If you want to be watching from home, then you can do what you did last time and grab yourself a Be Inspired ticket from the comfort of your bed or your couch or your desk, wherever it is that you're watching. So we've got 2 tiers of tickets for Be Inspired this time. We've got watch at home, or indeed we've got be in the room where it happens. You want to be in the room where it happens. We are going to have an incredible 2 days. And this person is going to be speaking on that stage. So to have been on a journey with this person, people always like throw the word journey around. It's been an absolute delight to see. And I cannot wait to share her story, and also the incredible things that she does in business. Please welcome to the show, Rise Up Show, the phenomenal, I can't even talk, I'm that excited, Skye Barbour, get in here.
Good morning. Oh gosh, what an introduction. Jeez, Dani. Oh, love it.
I just want to follow my friends around and introduce them into rooms. Like, that would be like my ideal job. I could sack it all in now and just like walk around with a microphone and say, here's Skye Barbour, like this.
well, please don't sack it in now, because I'm so excited to work with you on Be Inspired, as is so many people on that very energetic cohort. So really looking forward to that.
It is, and the cohort is incredible. If I look at that lineup and look at, for our event that we're going to do together in at the end of September, you're on day 2, aren't you? You're on the Friday. It is such a varied lineup. I cannot wait, and I cannot wait for you to bring your view of the world to the stage as well, because Skye, the work that you do, I see huge transformations happen with not small businesses per se, but one woman bands or one man bands, or even businesses like pubs and all of this sort of stuff. You do such incredible work. Skye, tell us more about what you do, because I hear people talk about you and they say, is she a recruitment consultant? Is she a business strategist? Is she that? It's like you're like a wonder boy. It's like you come in with some Harry Potter shit and go pow, like in people's businesses, and all of a sudden they just do incredibly well. Tell me more about what you do.
Well, I've been trying to think of an analogy to use really for my role, and the analogies I keep coming up with, I'm like, oh, I'm not a good mechanic. I'm not clever enough to be an architect. But I suppose if I think about it, is that I come into businesses like an architect, okay, when you've got a property that might have some work, and I live in a 16th century old farmhouse, so it often needs a bit of loving and a bit of work. But what happens is I come in and I see where there's opportunity to go back and rebuild the foundations for a business, and how do we strengthen the core. Ultimately, what I do is allow business owners to be at their best. And I do that through putting in the right systems, the right support, and the right structure of their business. And it is a privilege to see business owners double, triple, quadruple their incomes without sacrificing their family time, which is something that's part of my big why of why I started my business, to work around my family and be the mother I wanted to be, but equally make the money and have the freedom I wanted to, which I know you can relate to as well with all your gorgeous girls.
100%. And this is still, something that I'm trying to get right. And this is often why people come to you, is that they feel that overwhelm. Their diary's set out, they're exchanging a lot of time for money. They are working with them in their expertise, but they're not. It's almost like you get pulled in a lot of different directions, where you can't work in your space in like your place of genius, because there is so many other things to do. And often when you scale to a certain size, it's almost like, like in Alice in Wonderland, where she drinks the potion and she grows really big, and then her arms poke through the windows and her legs poke through the windows. It's like you get too big for the house that you built. I think an architect is a really great analogy. Your arms and legs and the head pops out the chimney, and actually it doesn't need to be like that. The house just needs looking at. What what you have in place needs looking at. And I think when people are feeling that kind of overwhelmed, it's really hard when you're on the inside trying to see out.
Yeah, and hey, I'm not immune to this either. I started my personal brand because I was used to running large teams, big organizations, multi 8-figure businesses, all to myself. And I was sick of it. I wanted to just rely on myself. I wanted my income to be me. I wanted to be a personal brand. And that's how I started off. I didn't want to have a team. I didn't want to have all this corporate systems. You know, so I was doing it all. And you know what? To start with, I was happy. And I was that different. And I was doing a bit of social media and creating products and doing some marketing and selling and delivering to clients and doing the accounts. And then all of a sudden I was doing the housework, doing the childcare, doing the, like literally doing everything, and realized, oh my goodness, I'm stretched way too thinly. And yet I was looking at the online world thinking, look at all these gurus that just seem like swans. And they're doing everything. And I was like, no, this isn't the way. And what I recognized was that so many solopreneurs were getting stuck in the doing because they thought that was the only way, they had to be the one. Or the only option was to build like a side project, a passive income product, a speaking income stream, or a book income stream. But they didn't have the time to create.
So it's just putting all of these sort of side things are just putting another plate on a stick to spin. So then
8 hands, like going, whoa, juggling all the stuff, and something comes, and it's you.
Yes, absolutely. And we see it time and time again, don't we, in this space? We see beautiful businesses imploding. And I think that the work that you do, and like I say, we've known each other a couple of years now, and to have already, you know, your business was growing in a really incredible way. I know you've worked with Abby and Sarah a little while back, or was that getting that right?
No. I haven't worked with Abby or Sarah.
Sarah did your pictures though, right?
No.
Did she not? Or is that Natasha, and you two have just become the same person in my mind?
Oh, okay. So yes, Natasha and I were in Wales, and I had to be the stand-in, and I'm blurred in and out. But you know, Natasha and I are like this. So there's not many photo shoots where we haven't been together. I managed to one, but no. So hence the confusion there. But no, I have met the lovely Sarah, and I would love to work with her teacher and Abby. But no, I've worked with Natasha being one of the like main clients. Her business was doing like 25K months. It's now doing like 150K months. Yeah, it is insane. And so I've supported her with the back of house stuff for that. You know, not the marketing, not what products that she's bringing out. She's incredible at that herself. But I help with the back of house support systems to enable her to leverage her time and to bring people in. And I'm actually off to Wales to see her and her team tomorrow with my team, which is really exciting.
I'm very jealous that you guys get to like hang out and do business. I think one of the beautiful things, I think you and Natasha are a great example of this. And I'm really lucky that, you know, with yourself and lots of other people that are kind of in my immediate business circle and friendship circle, is that when you find people who resonate with you, you are able to help each other. It's incredible that if you look at the support, like Natasha's business has grown. We're talking about Natasha Bray, for those of you that are watching at home, who is the leader of the Story Mind Mastermind. And we've had them on lots and lots over the past few weeks, and we, you know, did the book launch. Congratulations on being a best-selling author, by the way.
Thank you.
But Natasha's business has grown like from here to here in 4 short years, 3 short, very short amount of time. She was in the food industry first, then, you know, utilized all of her incredible knowledge and skills and expertise. But when your business grows in that way, you need a Skye in your life in order to make sense of it all underneath, because as a creative, you move forward all the time, making new things, putting things out there, then you've got to deliver it all.
Yeah. So there is very much 2 parts to the work. There's the practical part, which is where are you spending your time? How do we put systems in? What does that support look like? How do you delegate? Like, most people don't know how to do that effectively and get disappointed with the results. So there's all the practical stuff I do because of my experience, you know, and I've been in the space for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Then there's the personal stuff. Like, how do you suddenly lead a business when it isn't just you? How do you actually provide, like, what do you stand for as a company? How do you look after a team as well as your clients? Like, what does that mean for you to be a leader? How do you stay in control, keep your finger on the pulse each day? And how do you grow a sustainable business? Because this is what I'm all about. Michael Gerber, I never pronounced his name right. He talks in the E-Myth, which I adore. I don't know if you've read it. It's an amazing book. But he talks about if you just stay doing all the doing, like, you end up just being busy with a job. And that's completely fine. if that's what you want to do. But I'm all about creating businesses that when you want someone else to run it for you, or take a holiday or a 6-week mat leave like I did, which I shared in the story, in the Story Mind book, then your business can still make money and do things without you. Like, you don't need to be in it doing stuff the entire time. Yeah. And I'm not fully there myself, but I've done it for many, many business owners, online, offline, and creating that also as I step towards a multi-6-figure business, role modeling that for my clients too. So, and it really can start, like, leadership starts at every level. You start leading when you have an idea, right the way through to an 8-figure business. But it is a very different concept to just being that winging it business owner, like, off we go, let's just make this happen. There's a lot of that, and I'm, again, still have the moments of that as well.
Yeah.
But it does take leadership to really grow a long-term business that doesn't burn you out.
How do we do that, though? So the thing is, not everybody. I'm lucky. I come from a corporate background where I was introduced to the concept of leadership as opposed to management. Yeah. Then found myself in a management role where people, they wanted to be managed. They didn't want to be led. They wanted the numbness, I guess, of coming into work, being told what to do, doing as little as they can, being paid as much as they possibly could get away with before they went home again. They didn't want to be led. They wanted to be managed. And it really left me feeling despondent in the leadership space. I remember sitting there thinking, I had all these coaching skills. I wanted to coach them. I wanted to root for it. I wanted them to do well. And they just weren't bought in. They just wanted to come in, earn the commissions, do what they needed to do, and then go home again. They wanted to be told what to do. Like I said, that left me feeling really despondent. So when it came to IATQB and growing the business, I started to get a little bit, I don't want to manage people. I can't be asked to manage. I don't want to manage people. I want to lead a culture. I want to lead a community. How do you step into that if that's not something that you've experienced before? What does leadership mean to you when it comes to building a team around you?
Oh gosh, these feel like amazing but huge questions.
It's a big question.
Yeah, big question. And so my background is retail management, and let's be honest, when you stack shelves, like, you don't have the most motivated, inspired workforce at times. Yeah. So that's not true of everyone, but that whole despondent, I just need to come in, do a job and go, like, then I completely get that. There's a lot of fortunate things in that when we outsource a lot in our line of work, in the online industry, there's a lot of freelancers. So there's a lot of motivation there for people to want to build their own business by supporting you. So there's a slightly different take on it. Ultimately, the key word for me around leadership is creating ownership. Okay. Because when you think like an owner of that business, when people care almost as though they own it, they become less task-fed and more decision and management focused. So not necessarily management as in like managing others, but managing themselves and their roles. So there are key things you have to have in place, like metrics and like knowing what good looks like and reviews and all the kind of normal stuff. But ultimately, if I could only teach 2 things, 3.
Go on, you have 3.
3 things. As a leader, you have to be an amazing communicator. Just as much as you are with your clients, you have to do that with the people working for you. And I don't care if that's a cleaner comes in once a fortnight or someone helping you, full time, whatever your version of team is. My mother-in-law was part of my team.
My mum's part of our team now.
Absolutely. It's part of the team. So communication is essential. Setting the standard, knowing what you're aiming for. This is the end goal. And being really clear about painting that picture as the leader. And then the third thing is like allowing people to take ownership. And scarily enough, that sometimes means make a few mistakes, but it's okay because you're going to bring people in who care and who are aligned to the vision and the values of your business. And when you do that, and I'm very fortunate to have that in place in my business and support other business owners with that, you don't need to do, you have your step processes in place to manage, but it's not about management. It's an exciting adventure that everyone's with you on the ride.
It's interesting. Like when I used to work for the car phone warehouse, and I was really very well looked after in that company. And it was when it was at its height, and Charles Dunstone had started the business, and the way that they did their inductions was really interesting, because what they did is the very first thing that you did on day one was learn about how the business came to be. Mm-hmm. And by doing that, you get introduced to the culture of the business, and you buy in. The processes and stuff come a little bit later on. The first thing that they do as part of that induction process is have you fall in love with the brand, is have you fall in love with the mission of the business. And I think that the more that we do that when we bring people in, if we can really explain or get them involved with you, you're at fruition at this point. This is the Charles Dunstone selling his car phones out of his boot with his mate back in 1980 something. That's where we are now with our businesses, if we've not already established over the number of years. So it's an exciting thing to be a part of. So when you're bringing people in, if you can get them bought into that, I'm even now, I'll go and buy my phones from the car phone warehouse. I've not worked for them for 10 years. But when you are so bought into a company's culture like that, like you say, you do all tend to pull in the same direction. You do tend to do a bit more for each other, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, as a leader, you need to focus on three things. And I see this time and time again, people forget. Profit, because ultimately we need to run profitable businesses.
We're in business to make money, right?
Yeah. Clients, because if they ain't happy, you haven't gonna have a profitable business. Results. Those two, pretty obvious. Although interesting how many people just focus on clients and not profit, but that's a whole other story. And the third thing is team. And I don't care if you're just on your own, but that team includes your partner, your child, your stepchild, whatever it might be to you. They have to be on board, as well as your VA or your PA or your business manager or whatever it might be, whatever stage you're at. You have to have your own. Just because you're the business owner and because you're a leader doesn't mean you can't just, and you've got an OBM in place, you can't just not ignore them, but have that as an afterthought. They have to be very much in your thoughts, because when people around you are in a good place, when your husband's supporting you with what you're doing and backing you, when your kids are all absolutely, and I'm sure, because I saw you do a family party recently, so I'm sure part of that was about that family support team being there.
Yeah, it's thanking them for everything, parting the tide for me whilst I kind of forge ahead.
Exactly. Having that in the case, then you're able to deliver to amazing client results. And the clients are super happy, and also the team are on board with supporting that. They're going to tell more people. And here comes the ripple effect, and you're going to make more money, and the results come from it. What I see is people focus on the other way around. Let's get the results, then help the clients, and then make the team happy. And it doesn't work. It has to be team up.
The other way around.
That's the way I lead.
And it's, again, like you say, it's that ripple effect and team up. And again, things that I'm still trying to get right, because at the beginning it was about making money and getting out of the house. And at the beginning it was how by any means necessary, almost getting my blinkers on and ignoring everybody else. Then realizing that when my daughter sits next to me and says, "Mum, I feel," she said to me, "I feel ignored. I feel like you're not, that I'm not important. I feel like work is important." And it's hard, it's horrible, and it absolutely heartbreaking conversation to have. But I'm sat here thinking I'm doing all this for them, but I'm not communicating any of that. I'm just at work. In my mind, I'm doing it with the best intentions. I'm doing it for them so they can have a better life. I'm doing it, everything I'm doing for my family, my immediate team. And actually what I'm doing is, in the middle of all that, is completely ignoring them. Is completely negating them, even though it's the fuel in my fire. It's everything that I do, I'm doing it for. So again, that team up thing, and that's what our party was all about, and that celebration, that thank you, I see you, I need you to see me too. This two-way conversation, but getting it right is really difficult, isn't it?
It is really difficult, and I work a lot with I call them family businesses, but ultimately people who hire family members in their business, because I'm a farmer's daughter, farmer's wife. We all work together.
They are family businesses.
Yeah, they are family businesses, but emotional family businesses, because they're a physical thing as well as a financial thing, and all the pressure that goes with that. And that's been my world. And I've become an expert in mediating and facilitating and communicating how to get everyone on board working towards the same goal, because it's been a necessity in my life, and it's a necessity for a lot of my clients as well. And often we bring family members in because we trust them and because they're there, and we recognize their skills often a lot better than they recognize their own, and they can be the absolute best thing in your business. But unless you've got those communication channels right, it can also be really, really tough at times when you don't have a month that's quite what you hoped for, or something comes up that's scaring you or triggering you. And we were talking before about actually having moments of just like, whoa, I've got the balance wrong. This isn't working right now. This feels tough or heavy or whatever it might be. And put together coronavirus, living lockdown life, that we're all still feeling the ripple effects from. Like, that has a massive impact on emotions, on relationships, and on families. And I'm just super passionate about making that work, and everyone playing to their strengths.
Yeah, and then we look like, just as before we came on the show this morning, we was talking about the day that you had yesterday, and the client wins that you had just yesterday, where you had people winning incredible contracts, and you had people that were doing incredible launches, and people that were doing all these things, and that comes from them being able to get the right balance in place so that they can go on to do those things. Those wins again come from the team up. They're not just one person's win. It takes a village to grow a business. And when you said someone had described you as a recruitment consultant, I was like, what the fuck? That is not.
I know. That was purely me using that as an example of like, right, I need to do work on my messaging. And this client who I absolutely adore working with, she and I were having a right laugh, because we are actually hiring for her number 2, for her right-hand person in business. So it's completely legit that she thought that. Oh no, I've had all these business wins, and I was like, don't call me that. She's like, sorry. Don't worry, whatever makes sense at the time. But yeah, I struggle at times to stay focused in my own lane and be like, Skye, like helping people grow, helping people remove the overwhelm, put in the right structures and systems. But ultimately, the biggest kicks, and you probably find this yourself, I'm sure when you see your proud next cohort get on stage, having been nervous or whatever, that must feel amazing. But for me, it's when those business owners that are like, come to me and they're like, I'm just winging it. This isn't a real business. Like, I don't believe in myself or believe in the business. Like, go on to like turn a profit, make money, start paying themselves, start seeing a way to just go from like that. I can't explain it any other way other than feeling like you're completely like a fraud or winging it, to actually doing like a credible business. Like, that is what I'm all about. And it doesn't matter what stage of business you're at, because hey, I don't know about you, but financially things can get better and better and better and better. But this stuff crops up a lot.
All the way up. But there's not a level that I haven't worked with somebody on where still they're either like pinching themselves because they can't believe, even me, like they're pinching themselves because they can't believe this is the work. Wait, what? Hang on a minute. But it's because it's within a zone of genius. And I don't think, and I think you'll agree with me, Skye, there is not one business person that I have come across who at some point hasn't gone, this can't be a legitimate business. This isn't a business. I feel like I'm just playing at this, and it's that when you really start to put the CEO hat on and think, okay, I'm the Richard Branson here of my empire, I'm the Jacqueline Gold of my empire right here, right now. And when you start to treat it accordingly, that's when you start see things getting really expansive. That's when you've got to really hold on to your knickers, because that's when things take off, when you start to think about it that way as a real, it's like Pinocchio saying, I'm a real boy. It's like when you become a CEO, treat your business like a CEO, that's when the business starts behaving like it.
Yeah, I really, really love what you've just said. There's so much about it is permission to do this. And a lot of my ladies, they've got typically children at home, and that becomes something they have to do rather than a reason of like building the business. And actually, when we work out exactly why they're doing what they're doing, and we create the time, because I can find 4 hours in anyone's week, you find those 4 hours and you do them doing the profit generating tasks, all of a sudden things change. And it just reminded me of a client, Ria, who came to me and she's just like, oh, I'm just playing this, like winging it. And she's done a few launches and doing well, but now she's being interviewed on like Mamas and Papas podcasts, and she's doing amazingly. Just a few like permission changes. She just got a job on Indeed where she's going to hire an in-house assistant and, you know, build an in-house team and all this stuff. And it's like, wow, I just love it when I see people take action. And that's the amazing thing, because that's how we're going to make a big difference. And I think, you know, your story always gets me, like the privilege of being sat around that table in Malta, and when we, you know, having several glasses of rosé, having that conversation. And there was a part of me, you know, maybe I shouldn't admit this particular show, but there was a part of me listening to it and I was like, gosh, you know, that's quite a big goal in the first launch. And I think I might have even had some like negative thinking, not about you, but about the situation, like, oh, how would I feel in that situation of like, I want to create £7,000. And my immediate mental went, oh, that's hard to get onto the mastermind. And then when I saw what you did and then where you've gone from that, it's like unbelievable to see the difference. But you gave yourself permission and you were like, there was no plan B. This was going to work.
There couldn't have been a plan B, because I was at breaking point when I got on the plane. I think the thing was that I couldn't sing anymore. There was no more hours left to sing. There was so much more skill left inside of me that wasn't being utilized. There was a big empty sort of chasm. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with this? I can't just wake up when I was carrying still, like, I'm still fulfilling some gigs. I'll be doing one, you know, just this weekend coming, where I'm lugging my PA system up and down the motorway and setting it up for, you know, not a great deal of money. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. So there was this real, I think when my back goes against the wall, there is a no other way out. But I think the thing that really was the click in the lock there was being accepted. And you were a big part of that. And you was Kerry Leather there, and there was Deep that was there, and the people that were around that table allowed me to sit at the table. Not that we've learned since you build your own fucking table and you come like bring a chair, but
which you did brilliantly. Like before that, like even just, you know, I remember you telling me the story about picking up the phone and being like, we're gonna be friends, Lisa. Talk about build a table.
I've got a little deck chair. I'll just pop it at the end. You won't notice me. I'll be fine.
Yeah. But there was no difference, was there? When we all got in there in our swimming costumes around the pool having a cocktail, we just realized that we were ambitious, big-hearted women who wanted to make a big difference. Part of that is for our families, and part of that, you know, even though we have very different backgrounds, part of that's for our families, and part of that is for the ripple effect that we'll have within our communities and the people we can serve. And when you strip back everything else, when you realize like that is our inspiration, there's a lot of similarities with every single person in that place, and a huge amount of connection.
Absolutely. I think even now when I look back on it, Skye, it feels like that was a really magical time, because if I look at who was around the table, who was there in Malta over the course of those few days, and what those people have gone on to do, what those people have gone on to create with their lives and their businesses, it's just phenomenal what happens when you get a group of big-hearted people who are, you know, ambitious, people that are accepting, people who realize that there's no competition, because money, if you think about it, is a relative, because it's a man-made construction, is an infinite resource. It's being tenacious about working out your place and going out to find it. And I look at like Deep Badgewater, I look at you, Skye, look at Tash, look at who else was there? Sam Barefoot. Look at Lisa, fucking hell. She made £1 million in an hour last night. That is insane, absolutely insane. And if any of you are jumping on one too many, congratulations. You are gonna love it, by the way. But it was a real magical place in time. And it feels like with the doors opening again, people have got that opportunity to do that. What would you say if there are people out there that have an opportunity to be in the room with a group of people like that? What would you say to them?
I'm allowed to swear, aren't I? I'm not a big swearer, but yeah. So one thing the team and I have coined is like that fuck it moment.
Yes.
When you feel like And, you know, I actually sat here and can feel like the adrenaline, just even saying it, the adrenaline forms in my tummy. I'm like, maybe that moment before you go and step into stage, maybe that moment before you open the door into a networking thing, you don't know anyone in the room. Maybe for that moment when you come on a situation like this, or even if you go into an online group, thinking of that as though it were an in-person thing, like that bucket moment when you decide, that's it. There is no plan B. We're going to make this happen, that tenacity.
Yeah.
And what I always say is, like, you obviously got to breathe and calm those nerves. You got to trust yourself. You got to know you're here to grow and expand as a person, and you got to do it, because it's far better to have done something and learned than not done something and live with regret. So I often think about, what is the worst thing that's going to happen right now? And normally that fails into significance compared to regret and feeling like, what if? And I never want to live with a what if. So have that fuck it moment, recognize it, trust, grow and expand, and your business will thank you for it. I had a client the other week saying, you know what, actually I had a shed load of crap going on in her personal life, really challenging situation. And she was going, I'm not going to show up my launch, but she did. She showed up every single day for her launch. And she said to me afterwards, it was her most profitable launch, even though she had half the numbers in. And she just said, I'm so proud because my family needed me to show up, and I did. My business needed me to show up too and be there and know I was serious, and I did. And I really felt like I did both of those things like to the best of my ability, and I'm super proud. I was like, goosebumps. I'm so happy about that. It is just being like, right, fuck it, I can do both.
It's realizing that the roller coaster that you're on, you're choosing to be on. No one queues up at Blackpool Pleasure Beach like for the big one because they don't want to go on the big one. Like they go on it because they want to go. They go on it because they want to go on the big one. The problem is there is that moment where you're stood at the turnstile to when you sit in, when the seatbelt comes down. That's it. You're not getting off anyway. So it's almost like that fuck it moment where you go, oh well, we're off now. Yeah. Then you might as well get in and give it everything that you've got. And it's almost treating every day like that. We are strapped into the roller coaster. There is no getting off. So we've got to make those decisions and allow ourselves to be courageous when it comes to expansion, when it comes to choosing people to work with, when it comes to investing in ourselves and investing in experts to come in and help us. I've done that this week. Just this week, I've started working with Dan Meredith for a different kind of energy on my business. You've invested in working with mentors. People invest in working with you.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, for sure. But again, pays off absolute dividends in your growth every single time. And you're either growing or you're winning. There's no failing for this.
I completely agree. And you just learn. I said I've got a team call straight after this, and it's like one of the things I want to do is like reflect and learn from something what didn't go as well as we'd hoped in the last couple of weeks. That's okay. But I'm rather we gave something a go and we learn from it, and not bother and feel like the failure, because you will have wins. You will have wins if you keep going, taking the action. And that's when I think about my leaders that do amazingly, they are the ones that feel fuck it and do it anyway and keep the action and keep learning and keep staying in the room. They're the ones. And I've got I'm seeing Karen, Sandra, and who are clients of mine, and Karen was an amazing example of just staying with it. She used to get on calls and say like, I don't want to be here right now, everything's telling me to hide, but I'm staying on this call because I need this. And I was like, yes. And she'd get so breakthroughs, and she's like gone on to, I think, triple her business now. She's taking over Scotland with consultancy for farmers. It's incredible. So, stay in the room, stay focused, recognize those effort moments, and just take the step anyway. And that's what you do all the time. I see that.
I'm in a constant state of alert.
Oh, again, I had a team call or sent my team a message this week. I was like, I think I've got like one of the biggest and busiest weeks personally. Like this week is massive for me, and I feel physically sick at times. But I'm letting you know this because this is what I need from you, and this is the support you require. Because life isn't, a perfect slope. It comes with little bumps in the road, but we have to ride it out.
Exactly that. So buckle up, my beauties. If if someone's been watching at home today or watching on the replay, Skye, and they've gone, do you know what? Just like I'm feeling right now, I'm feeling really fired up after this conversation with you today. You've really brought the fire, and thank you so much for doing that. If people want to know more about working with you and what that looks like, how do they find out these things, Skye?
Oh, well, we have a lovely community called the Leaders Way. So if you want to build a business from not doing all the things and have a sustainable long-term business, come and join us in the Leaders Way. But I also love chatting to people in my DMs on Instagram. So come and find me there as well, at Skye_Barbour. And if you want to see like farm life, small children, small ponies, chickens, a featherless chicken at the moment.
A featherless chicken?
Yeah, which he's got, well, anyway, that's a whole...
There's a situation.
Yeah, there's a situation. Then come and find me on Instagram and just drop me a message. And I'd love to know where you are at in business and how I can help.
Amazing. Skye, congratulations on your international bestseller that you've been a part of, When Women Heal. It's been an honor. Thank you so much for sharing your story, because your story in that is beautiful. Thank you for sharing your fire this morning. I knew we were going to have an absolute scream. And what you have got to say about business and helping people within their businesses is just phenomenal. Seeing the transformations that Skye's clients have had is incredible. Please do go and find out more about what Skye does. The Leaders Way on Facebook, that right?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Amazing. Skye Barbour, I love you. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you so much for having me. And I'm so excited to work with you going forward.
Aha! See you on the stage and be inspired, bitch.
All right. Thanks, Dani. Have a lovely week.
You too, my darling. That was Skye Barbour. Please do go and find out more. Check out, just pop into the search, The Leaders Way. If you go onto Instagram, type in Skye Barbour, she pops up and she shares all kinds of awesome stuff over there as well. I think the real light bulb there today for me was that team up conversation, that really thinking about, instead of trying to just fill your diary, actually the people that are around you, be it your partner, be it your kids, your parents, your family, if you've got, housekeepers or people that help you with life, it's all of those people are your team, and the way that you behave around them, with them, will inform how they behave around you and support you and lift you up in order to do the things that you really want to do in your business. It isn't just about recruiting in, it's about looking after the team that you've already got as well, and making sure you've got all those systems in place. Go and check out The Leaders Way with the incredible Skye Barbour. You will see her on stage. No doubt you'll see her on the show before Be Inspired as well, talking even more about her story, because we've only just scratched the surface today. There is so much more to Skye, and I can't wait to share her more with you. Thank you for joining me today on the show at Rise Up Show. Only 3 shows left now until we take a break. It's going to be a couple of weeks, and then we will be back with a whole new lineup, a whole new format, and looking a little bit different as well. So please do stick with us for that, and I'll see you tomorrow at 9:30 for more Showing Up, Wise Up and Rising Up. We are about, before you go, I think, about 75 people away from 4K followers on Instagram. Go and follow me on first. Stop what you're doing. Go and follow me on Instagram right now, at the Queen Bee Dani, and tell me that you're over there. Go and say hey. Have an incredible day. Go and rip it up this Tuesday. I love you. I'll see you all tomorrow. Ciao.